So welcome everyone. I'll pop up again if anyone joins us after we begin. But let's find a comfortable seat. Letting the backs of your thighs rest down, letting your bum feel quite heavy. And shifting back and forth, side to side, feeling the bony parts of your bum, your sit bones, and letting them be equally responsible for your weight. See if you can find that center point. And then as you find your center, find a sense of lifting the spine up, lengthening the spine. Crown of the head reaching up. Almost a regal seat or a dignified seat. Let the feet rest down, soles of the feet on the floor. And let the shoulders melt down softly. Just breathing here for a few moments as we settle in. Eyes can be open or closed. Letting the natural pattern of your breath flow in and out of your body. It might feel good to have the palms resting down on your knees or thighs, or maybe palms resting up, whichever feels better this morning. And then as we start to bring awareness to different parts of our body, maybe imagining sending that body part some love. And if love doesn't feel quite right or feels difficult, we can imagine sending healing. So bringing your awareness to the very top of your head and sending love or healing to the top of your skull, to your forehead, the back of your head, your eyebrows and space between the eyebrows, to your eyes, your ears, your nose, your cheeks, your mouth. Sending a sense of love or healing to your whole head. And moving down into the throat and the neck, to the shoulders, to the chest, to the upper back, to the upper arms, elbows, forearms, to the wrists, the hands, backs of the hands, palms of the hands, and each finger in turn, the thumbs, first fingers, middle fingers, ring fingers, and pinkies. And continuing down into the torso, sending love or sending healing to your ribs, all the way around, front ribs, side ribs, back ribs, to the low back, to the low belly, to your hips, to your thighs, tops of the thighs, and backs of the thighs, to the knees, to the shins, calves, to your ankles, to your heels, to the soles of the feet, tops of the feet, And each toe in turn, big toes, second toes, middle toes, third toes, and fourth the pinky toe. And sending the idea of love or healing to your whole body, to the complete body. And starting to flutter your eyes open, coming back to the room if they were closed. Let's slowly reach the arms out for a big stretch. Maybe the arms reach out wide or reach up and overhead, whatever would feel good in this moment. Letting it be a little bit intuitive. Maybe you're stretching a little bit from side to side or just reaching hands up. Maybe we move from this reaching arms up and overhead to out towards the sides. Maybe the arms reach back a little bit before releasing them back to your lap. Finding that nice tall spine again, lots of space. Space and flexibility as well as length. Letting it be a little bit soft. And then we'll start moving into the head and neck. Breathing in center for another couple of breaths before we start to move. Finding that softness in the shoulders again. Maybe some softness in the forehead and in the jaw. When your next exhale arrives, let's tip the chin down towards the chest. And then inhale to lift the gaze, lifting the head, maybe tipping it up towards the ceiling softly. Exhaling again to bring the chin down towards the chest. Moving with your breath, your pattern. Continuing to move in this way. Inhaling to lift and exhaling to lower. Slowly making your way back to center after you feel you've done both directions evenly. And noticing any sensations in the neck. And then we'll turn the head from side to side, starting in center again. We'll keep the chin parallel with the ground and turning the head to one side on an exhale. Then inhaling back to center as you're ready. And exhaling in the other direction. Again, following your own rhythm, your own breath pattern. Moving as slowly as your breath moves. Once more on each side. And as you're ready, making your way back to center. No rush to get there. Noticing sensations as you arrive back in center. Let's flip the hands so that palms are facing up if the palms were down on your lap. And we'll move into the fingers a little bit. I'll come closer to this camera so you can see what I'm doing. So let's bring the tip of each first finger and thumb towards each other. And then release. Then we'll bring the middle finger and thumb tips together. And release. Ring fingers to the tip of the thumb. And release. And then pinky fingers to the tip of the thumb. And release. We'll move through that the same direction once more. Tip of the first finger to tip of the thumb. Release. If the fingers don't quite meet, you can help it along with the other hand, if that helps. Or you can just use your intention, imagine that they were touching. And finishing with the pinky finger to the tip of the thumb. Releasing. Shaking out the hands might feel good. Maybe finding some wrist circles. Fists can be closed or the hands can be open, whichever one feels like it serves you more. Switching directions when you're ready. And then releasing the hands back to your lap for a moment and noticing sensations in your palms, in the backs of the hands, maybe in the wrists, and in each of the fingers. Just noticing any subtle feelings that are coming up, any subtle sensations. And then let's move into the shoulders a little bit. Let's sweep the arms out wide. And we'll stretch into the fingers and the palms and the whole arm a little bit. So reaching the fingertips up towards the ceiling. And imagine reaching out through the palms of or through the heel of your hand, through the palms. Reaching out towards the sides. Fingertips are reaching up to the ceiling. Breathing here. Spending another breath feels okay. And we'll flip the fingertips down towards the ceiling, or towards the floor, not towards the ceiling. And this time imagine reaching out through the top of your wrist, out to the sides, even while the fingertips are reaching towards the floor. One more breath if it feels okay to stay. One more time, let's flip the fingertips towards the ceiling, reaching out through the heel of your hand. And then switch fingertips to the floor, reaching out through the top of your wrist. Then releasing the hands back to your lap. Softening the arms, maybe a little shake of the arms or wrists. We're going to move into the arms one more time. Again, reaching out towards the sides, but this time as if you were holding doorknobs. Fingers are kind of tented. We'll explore a little bit of internal and external rotation. So for internal, we're turning our hands forward. And external, we're turning our hands backwards, as if you were turning a round doorknob. Turning it forward as far as possible. Internal rotation. Turning the knob backwards as far as possible. External rotation. So external tends to open up the chest a little bit more. And internal tends to stretch sort of in between the shoulder blades a little more. We need both movements. One more time in each direction, and then we'll release the arms. And releasing the hands back to the lap, noticing sensations in the shoulders. And maybe anywhere else, maybe it radiates a little bit into the chest or into the shoulder blades or between the shoulder blades. And then let's find, excuse me, some shoulder rolls. So either shoulder rolls, letting the hands rest wherever they feel good, or fingertips could come to shoulders, whichever variation feels good this morning. Switching directions as you're ready. And then releasing the hands once again, coming back to that tall and dignified seat with lots of space and length in the spine. Coming back to your breath for a moment, giving yourself the time to notice sensations in the shoulders. And let's move down into the spine. Let's start with our cat-cows this morning. I'll turn sideways so that you can see how I'm moving. Let's leave hands on thighs or knees. Starting off in a nice tall and neutral spine, nice tall seat. Inhaling here in center. As you exhale, pushing the thighs away and starting to round into the back as though the belly could come towards the back of the chair, shoulder blades spread apart. With your inhale, you'll draw the chest forward, the belly comes forward as well, and the gaze might lift slightly. Exhaling to round the spine like a Halloween cat. Inhaling to come to cow, chest and belly come forward, shoulder blades draw together. Moving in, following your breath for a couple more cycles. And this movement can be as big or small as feels right in your body. When you're ready, making your way back to neutral. Pausing to notice sensations in the body. And then we'll move into our twist. For this morning's twist, let's bring some optional complications in. So if it feels best to have the feet firmly on the floor, that's an option. We could start to complicate matters by maybe crossing the ankles, right ankle in front of the left. Or maybe crossing the thighs, right over left. Or maybe drawing the right ankle over the left knee. So anywhere in these variations, wherever feels right. If the right ankle comes all the way to the left knee, keeping the right foot flexed, keeping the toes pulling towards the shin. Wherever you are from here, inhaling in a nice tall spine. As we exhale, we'll turn towards the right first, turning the shoulders towards the right, maybe holding the right knee with the left hand. The right hand might come back beside your hip, or it might rest on the backrest of your chair. If it would feel good for your neck, you could turn the head to look over your right shoulder. With every inhale, thinking about lengthening the spine, letting the exhale settle you into the twist. We'll slowly unwind, coming back through center, pausing for a moment as you arrive. If the right leg is crossed in any way over the left, let's release it, both feet back on the floor. Resetting into that nice tall spine, feet firmly planted. And then deciding what the next variation will be. Maybe both feet stay on the floor planted. Maybe the left ankle crosses over the right. Maybe the left thigh crosses over right. Or maybe left ankle comes to right knee. In which case we'll keep the left foot strongly flexed, toes pulling towards the shin. Inhaling in center, nice tall spine. As you exhale, we'll turn shoulders towards the left this time. The right hand might creep along to hold the furthest knee away. And the left hand might come back beside your left hip, or maybe holding the backrest of the chair. If it would feel good for the neck, you could turn the head to look over the left shoulder or in that direction. With every inhale, thinking about lifting the crown of the head, keeping the spine long. With every exhale, allowing your body to settle into the twist. And slowly, as you're ready, coming back to center, unwinding. Pausing for a moment. And then releasing the legs if they're crossed, bringing both feet firmly back to the floor. And we'll move into our side bend. I'm going to make this a dealer's choice. Whichever side bend you prefer, we can use a variety of arm variations. Hands might come to hips. We could spread them out like airplane or bird wings, or hold a beach ball above our head. If it would feel good or serve you today, maybe hands could be clasped, reaching up and away, and we could move into our side bend from there. So choosing your variation. whichever one feels right to you. Inhaling in center and exhaling to one side, keeping the opposite sit bones so heavy as though you're reaching away. Inhaling back to center as you're ready, and exhaling in the other direction. Moving about twice more on each side, following your breath. If it would feel good to change up the arm variations, we could do that too. You're not stuck in whichever one you've chosen. And when you feel you've done both sides evenly, releasing the arms once you're back in center. Noticing any sensations, both in the side body, maybe in the arms. And let's start to move down into our legs a little bit. So we'll continue with our internal, external rotation idea because legs have that too. So let's start with the right leg. We'll hold underneath the right thigh. Once you have your thigh in hand, readjust, find that tall spine again. There's a little more work to find it, but letting the shoulders be a little bit broad, maybe a little bit soft, even though they're working. And then we're going to swing the ankle or move the ankle over to the left. And then move the ankle all over to the right. So we're twisting the thigh bone in the hip socket. Your whole thigh might move. So this might be a small movement or it might be bigger. It'll depend on how much range of motion we have moving this way. Internal and external rotation of the legs, the thigh in the hip socket. So exploring that a few times, moving back and forth. So as the knee comes to center, that's internal rotation. And as the knee moves out, it's external rotation. And coming back to center as you're ready. Releasing right foot back down to the floor. Notice sensations from one thigh to the other, one hip to the other. And then we'll set up for the left. Pulling the left thigh up towards you. Adjusting your posture, finding that tall and neutral spine again. And then same idea, we'll swing the heel or the ankle from over to the right. And then out to the left. So it might not be very much movement. It might actually be very, very small and it might be more of an intention. So exploring your range of movement. As the knee turns in and the foot goes out, that's internal rotation. As the knee moves out, external rotation. Letting the thigh bone move in the hip socket. Twisting the thigh bone. And releasing your foot back to the floor as you're ready. And again, noticing sensations from one hip to the other. And let's move into some of the usual movements we do with our hip circles and ankle circles. So sitting forward on your chair just a little bit. So you're still stable, but you have a little more space to move. And again, we'll draw the right knee or thigh up towards us, either holding underneath the thigh or around the knee. And we'll start with some hip circles. Moving in one direction. And as you're ready, we'll switch directions. And coming back to center, more or less, our neutral beginning, still holding the right thigh. And let's move into the ankle a little bit. Ankle circles on the right side. Switching directions of your circles as you're ready. And then releasing the right foot back down to the floor. And moving over to the left after you give yourself a pause, noticing sensation, and then drawing left thigh or knee up towards you, holding underneath the thigh, around the shin, or holding the knee. And again, we'll start with circles. It can be as big or small as feels right this morning. Switching directions as you're ready. Coming back to center or neutral position and still holding the left thigh, we'll find some ankle circles. Switching directions as you're ready. And then releasing left foot down to the floor. Pausing, noticing sensations. And then let's move into our sun salutations. So finding your starting position, whether feet are parallel and more or less narrow, sort of hip width distance, or if it would feel good to have a little more space when we come into our forward fold, allowing for the torso to come through. Deciding on your hand variation. So maybe as we sweep the arms, they head down and out to the sides. Maybe they come up to about shoulder height. Maybe they reach up and overhead into a big wide V, or maybe the palms even attempt to come together or meet. So deciding where your arms would like to head for this first sun salutation variation. As you're ready, sitting up nice and tall. Exhaling. With our inhale, sweeping the arms wherever they're headed, your chosen destination. Exhaling to bring the hands back to thighs. Next, inhale draws chest and belly forward, gaze lifts, cow pose. Exhaling to round the spine, Halloween cat, belly towards the chair. Inhaling back into a tall and neutral spine. Exhaling to fold forward, forearms to knees, fingers to shins, or maybe hands to the floor. With an inhale, sweeping right arm up into a twist. Exhaling the right arm back down. Inhaling left arm up into a twist. Exhaling left arm back down. Inhaling to come back to neutral spine, arms sweep to wherever you've chosen your destination. And exhaling, hands back to thighs. Pausing for a breath. Making any adjustments to the legs as needed or desired. Deciding on your next arm destination, it can be the same one or you can switch it up. And as you're ready, exhale. Inhaling to sweep the arms wherever they're headed. Exhaling, hands back to thighs. Inhaling to draw chest and belly forward, gaze lift. Exhaling to cat pose, rounding the spine. Inhaling back up, neutral spine. Exhaling to fold forward, forearms to knees, maybe fingertips to shins or fingertips to the floor. Inhaling to sweep the right arm into a twist. Exhaling, right arm down. Inhaling the left arm into a twist. Exhaling, left arm down. Inhaling to come back to a neutral spine, tall spine. Arms sweep wherever your destination has been chosen. And exhaling, hands back to your thighs. Beautiful. Last variation of our sun salutation, making any adjustments that you'd like to in your feet. Deciding on your third arm destination. Again, it can be the same one. Exhaling when you're ready. Inhaling to sweep the arms wherever they're headed. Exhaling, hands back to thighs. Inhaling, chest and belly come forward. Exhaling, rounding the spine, Halloween cat. Inhaling back to neutral spine. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhaling the right arm into a twist. Exhaling the right arm back down. Inhaling left arm into a twist. Exhaling left arm back down. Inhaling both arms sweep up or wherever they're headed, coming back to neutral spine. Exhaling, hands back to your lap. Pausing for a moment, noticing any sensations through the body, any flow of energy or warmth. And let's make our way to standing. We'll spend a little more time standing this morning. Bringing the heels of your feet towards the chair. And we'll come up through our chair pose, so hands can come to hips or hands to prayer. And we'll just move the weight into the heels and just hover over the chair. Breathing here. Let's say 2 or 3 breaths, knowing you can come out whenever you need to or want to. And then making your way all the way to standing. Releasing the hands. Beautiful. Let's stand facing the seat of the chair and we'll make our way through some standing sun salutation variations. Some standing movement anyway. Setting yourself up so that when you bend forward, your palms easily reach the seat of the chair, that's a comfortable distance. Knees can always be bent, but finding that distance, setting yourself up, and then we'll start standing. We have the same arm variations available to us for standing sun salutations as we did for seated. So hands can reach down and out, maybe wide at shoulder height. Maybe they come into cactus or reach up and overhead, whether the hands are wide or come together. Any arm variation that feels like it serves you a little bit of stretch, but no pain. Let's set the feet up so that they're at least hip width distance apart. They could be a little wider if that feels good, or a little more narrow if that feels good too. Letting the weight be evenly distributed through the soles of both feet, through the balls of the foot as well as the heels. And it sometimes helps me to imagine pushing the mound of my big toe into the ground as well as the outside edge of my heel. And I find that tends to bring a little bit of lift into my arches, a little bit of activity into the legs. So standing here in this tall, strong stance, mountain pose or equal standing. As you're ready, let's sweep the arms in any destination you'd like them to go, anywhere along that continuum. With an exhale, let's bend the knees and fold forward, reaching down the legs as much as possible. With your inhale, we'll move to straighten the legs any amount. Exhaling to bend them again. One more time to straighten, inhale. Exhaling to bend. Bringing the hands to the seat of the chair, nice and secure on the seat of the chair. Knees can stay bent, and we'll breathe here with the spine about parallel to the floor, this halfway lift position. The legs can be as straight as feels comfortable without pain or pulling in the low back. When your next exhale arrives, bend the knees. And let's sweep the arms back up, coming back to standing. Before releasing the hands down to your sides. We'll move through that again, but add in a little bit of a lunge as we move. So finding that tall stance, toe mound and outside edge of your heel, pushing into the ground, lifting the arches. Feet are balanced, body is tall and strong. With your next inhale, let's sweep the arms in whichever destination you'd like them to go this time. Exhaling to fold forward, bending the knees and reaching down the legs as far as it feels okay to reach. Inhaling to move to straighten the legs any amount. Exhaling to bend. Again, inhaling to straighten. Exhaling to bend. Bringing the hands to the seat of the chair. And breathing in this halfway lift for a breath or two. Spine parallel to the floor. Knees as much bend in the knees to allow the back to be long. No pulling in the low back. From here, let's step the right foot back any amount, coming up onto the back toes. So finding this variation of a lunge. Maybe it would feel good to look forward, as though you could shine your heart forward. And maybe bringing some weight into the right heel as though it could reach down towards the floor, stretching into the back of the right leg. And releasing, stepping the right foot back towards the chair. Breathing for a moment back in our halfway lift position, spine parallel to the ground. When you're ready, let's step the left foot back. Same idea, stepping into kind of a high lunge variation. Maybe the gaze could be forward, maybe the heart could shine forward. And bringing some weight into the left heel, stretching into the back of the left leg. Releasing when you're ready, we'll step the left foot back towards the chair. Finding that halfway lift position again, knees can be bent. Spine parallel to the floor, breathing for a breath or two. When your next exhale arrives, bending the knees a little more deeply. And then we'll sweep the arms up and overhead or to wherever direction they feel good. Coming back to standing. Releasing the hands back down to your sides. Pausing for a moment here. Might feel good to wiggle the legs. Maybe wiggle the hips. Shaking out the wrists. Let's turn the chair around so that we have access to the backrest of the chair. And we'll find our chair version of a downward dog, just finding a little more length in the spine. So letting the hands rest on the backrest. Walking the feet back as far as feels comfortable. Again, knees can be bent. Feet can be a little wider for this one too. Reaching the tailbone in one direction and the crown of the head in the other. Lots of length, stretching into the spine as though it were being pulled in both directions. It might feel good to sway from one leg to the other. Might feel better just to find some stillness here. You get to choose. When you're ready, making your way back towards the chair, coming back to standing. Let's find a little bit of balance. So let's continue playing with our internal and external rotation a little bit. Let's start by standing on the left foot. So my left hand's on the chair just for ease. And we'll start to bring the right knee up towards us, lifting the thigh. So from here, this might be enough of a balance, but we could add the complication of trying to twist the thigh bone in the hip socket, maybe bringing the ankle towards the left and then towards the right, towards the left and the right. I'll let you play with the twisting. I'm not going to direct it anymore. And then let's release the right leg, right foot back to the floor, finding any wiggling that would feel good.
And then we'll switch directions. So either just turning around so that your other hand has access, or you can switch the side of your chair. She's been laying just out of camera the whole time. I scared her of moving the chair. She thought I was going to put it on her. All right. Shifting weight to the right foot this time. Lifting the left foot up. Left thigh up. And then maybe playing with it, but this might be enough for today. Maybe this leg doesn't want to twist. So we decide, do we play with this leg? With the ankle coming towards the right. And then towards the left. Twisting the thigh bone in the hip socket. Internal rotation. And external rotation. When you're ready, coming back to neutral and releasing the left foot back to the floor. Nice, everyone. Finding a little wiggling. The hips get working a little bit. So maybe another day we can work on, this is flexion and extension, rather than the knee going back and forth, that twist, it would be coming forward and back, which is tricky. Maybe next week. Finding any last movements while we're standing that would just feel good in your body. Maybe a big stretch, maybe a little wiggle, maybe a side bend, just anything, any movement that your body's kind of calling for. Maybe a full body shake for a dance party. As you're ready, we'll make our way back to seated. Finding that comfortable seat, tall spine, feet grounded. Let's do another body scan. Eyes can be open or closed. But as I mention the body part or the area of your body, maybe this time you could repeat love or healing, or we could add in the option of gratitude this time around. So maybe sending gratitude to the top of your head, to your forehead, your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Sending gratitude to your cheeks and ears, back of your head. Gratitude to your neck. Gratitude to shoulders, to your chest, the upper back. Gratitude to the upper arms, the elbows, forearms, wrists, palms, backs of the hands, and fingers. Gratitude to the ribs, front ribs, side ribs, and back ribs, all the way around. Gratitude to your belly, and abdomen, side body, and low back. Gratitude to your pelvis and hips, your thighs, your knees, your shins and calves. Gratitude to your ankles and heels, tops of the feet, soles of the feet and toes. And sending gratitude to your whole self, your whole body. Gratitude or love or healing, or all three.
thanking your body for all that it can do in all the ways that it supports you. Gratitude to yourself for making the time to practice today, communing, moving, and breathing together. Gratitude from me to you for allowing me to guide you through this practice. With gratitude to all the students and teachers who have come before us. You can stay exactly as you are, hands resting wherever they are. Or if it would feel good, you could bring hands over your heart or hands into prayer position just to close practice. With the hope that you can bring a sense of gratitude into the rest of your day and week. Peace. Thank you for joining me this morning. I'll stop the recording if anyone would like to say hi.